Welcome to our channel. I am Pam and I will try to take you around the world. Today we have this goal, to visit Lisbon in one day. Alfama is the oldest neighborhood in Lisbon. It is characterized by the facades of the houses with corroded plaster and by the narrow alleys. It very much still has that Arab flavor, due to the long domination. Under Arab rule, Alfama had its greatest development and was the residence of nobles and merchants. The signs of that happy and distant period, over time, remain in the noble and old Moorish palaces and in the many fountains hidden in the Padii. With the subsequent development of new neighborhoods in the city, Alfama ended up being inhabited only by fishermen and longshoremen. There is no room for modernity in these tangled streets. No cars, no supermarkets, no trendy restaurants. Here there are only small neighborhood stores, grocery stores, and casas de fado, the places where traditional Portuguese music is played, the true expression of Lisbon's soul. A point of reference for every musician of this genre is the Museu do Fado, which collects centuries of history of this musical tradition. São Jorge Castle is one of the oldest buildings in the city and one of the most significant sites visited by tourists. Its location, on Lisbon's highest hill, affords breathtaking views of the entire city and the Tagus River estuary. It was liberated from Moorish occupation in 1147 by King Alfonso Henry, with the help of the Crusaders, in the episode remembered as the Siege of Lisbon. It later became home to the royal palace, but began to fall into decay beginning in the 16th century, when the palace was moved to what is now Commerce Square. Two major earthquakes, the one in 1531 and the one in 1755, seriously damaged the structure, which was gradually more and more abandoned. Lisbon's largest square is situated on the estuary of the Tagus River. The Ribeira Royal Palace was built here in the early 16th century, the residence of the king for about 200 years, before being destroyed by the terrible earthquake of 1755. After the earthquake, the Marquis of Pombal, Minister of the Interior in the government at the time, had the square completely remodeled and rebuilt, returning it to its rightful position of prestige within the city and integrating it into the luxurious Baixa district. The square was changed its name to Praça do Comércio. In the center stands the equestrian statue of King José Primo, created in 1775 by the most famous Portuguese sculptor of the time and also known for being the first statue dedicated to a king in Lisbon. To the side we find the Arco de Rua Augusta, richly decorated and a true portal to the center of the city. The arch is also embellished with a clock and statues depicting great figures in Portuguese history, including Vasco da Gama and the Marquis of Pombal. Baixa is Lisbon's neighborhood between the Tagus River and Rocio, right in the middle of the hills on which the Alfama and Bairro Alto neighborhoods lie. Located in the heart of the city of Lisbon, the elegant district is the center of the capital's daytime life, with its trendy stores, restaurants, traditional bakeries and countless bars where you can enjoy a shot of some typical local liquor. The main street is the pedestrian Rua Augusta, which runs from the arch of the same name to Rocio Square. Many banks and companies are based here, making Baixa an important commercial and economic center. One of Baixa's best attractions is the Elevator de Santa Justa, an elevator monument in neo-Gothic style and decorated in iron. He leads to the top of a tower, from where there is a 360-degree view over Lisbon and the surrounding hills. Lisbon Cathedral, called by the Portuguese simply Sé de Lisboa, is a Romanesque-style church and is the seat of the capital's archdiocese. It was built in 1147 on the ruins of an ancient mosque. Since then, the building has been modified several times and has survived many earthquakes. The result is a mix of different architectural styles, although the one that prevails is the Romanesque facade, with a rose window in the center and twin bell towers. The interior of the cathedral has a classic Latin cross plan with 3 naves. In the 1300s, at the height of the Gothic period, a cloister was also built in the style of the time, and several chapels that were almost all destroyed in the Great Earthquake of 1755. The Convento do Carmo complex includes a Romanesque monastery and church of the same name, dating from 1398 and deeply damaged in the 1755 earthquake. The church was deliberately not renovated and remains one of the most tangible symbols of that great catastrophe. The convent dominates Ratio Square and overlooks the hill of Castello de São Jorge. In the 19th century, it was mostly a support base, first for the Royal Guard and then for some army battalions, after the expulsion of the religious from the convent in 1835. Instead, in 1864, the structure passed into the hands of the Association of Portuguese Archaeologists, who transformed the ruined building into the present Archaeological Museum do Carmo, which contains pieces from different places and styles, from various historical periods. The Tower of Belém is one of Lisbon's most iconic monuments. Since 1983, it has also become a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This 30-meter-high bastion, surrounded by 4 turrets, was built for defensive purposes by King John II, in defense of the mouth of the Tagus River. Work began in 1515, but the king died and the tower was completed under the reign of his successor, Manuel I. The Monasterio dos Jerónimos houses the tombs of King Manuel and family, and those of other kings who succeeded him, but also the tomb of Vasco da Gama. Streetcar 28 is one of Lisbon's most famous attractions, but it is not a tourist train. On the contrary, it is a vehicle of the public transport company. It is a plunge into the past among the hidden meanders of the city. Some carriages, originally from the early 1900s, are still on the road, but the polished wood panels and chrome trim give even the newer carriages an antique charm. Lisbon's Oceanario is one of the largest aquariums in the world. As many as 10,000 animals and plants populate and decorate the aquarium's huge tanks. Thank you for your time, and if you enjoyed our content, don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any of our videos.